And we are live. Buenos dias. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Me llamo Doctora Lulu. How are y'all doing? Coming at y'all straight up from North Mexico, aka San Antonio, Texas, this morning. And as always, on the Parents of Queer Kids show, we have parents talking about queer kids. And I am the numero uno on the line. So today, though, I am joined by a fellow pediatrician. I actually have a tattoo somewhere in my body that says PEDS, hashtag PEDS for life. So I have a fellow pediatrician and a woman and a mom to join me today. Hi, Dr. Tilt. Good
Hello,
morning.
Dr. Lulu. I really appreciate you having me on your show. Thank you.
And I'm so happy that we met. However, we met, we crisscrossed paths, and the universe was like, I'm going to send you walker bees, worker bees, both walker bees to walk the path with you and
Yep.
worker bees to do the work with you along this journey that can sometimes be lonely. So thank you so much for, first of all, for being a mama bear, but also for being a doctor bear,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't have enough physicians who are affirming. And
Yeah.
now a lot of us are facing losing our jobs, possibly for even affirming.
Mm-hmm.
So the future is bleak, but somebody has to do the work. So Dr. Elizabeth, or I just Liz or Elizabeth, is that from
Liz is fine. Yep. Liz is fine.
but was it from Elizabeth?
It was from Elizabeth. Yep.
My mom is Elizabeth,
Oh, is she?
and my middle name is Liz May. My dad made it up. I don't know where he got it from, but he made it up. I think he said he took it from Elizabeth, but he didn't want me to be Elizabeth. I was born in March, not May. But hey, what are you gonna do? So I'm like, okay, Liz March will have sounded funny, so I'll
Yeah.
take Liz May.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming to this show, which I really, my dream is to have it every single Thursday, but I haven't been lucky enough to get enough parents who want to come every
Yeah.
Thursday. But sometimes I come on my own. Sometimes I have a parent who wants to come along, and
Mm-hmm.
today is one of those days. So
Mm-hmm.
please tell the people, who are you and why the heck did you decide to come on a show to talk about something that pretty much these days you get ridiculed at the very least, you get attacked
Yeah.
at the very most for speaking about?
True. My name is Liz Tilt. I'm a pediatrician outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm fortunate enough to own my own practice, and I have two additional partners, and then we have another employed physician in the practice. So that affords me some autonomy to be able to support and affirm queer kids. We see kids from I am a pediatrician, board certified. I've done it for about 27 years. And so I see kids from birth all the way up to 18 years of age. At 18, we usually try to transition them into adult medicine, which sometimes is a challenge, especially with this population, but with all populations. And now I think I've done it long enough that I'm starting to have like patients bring, they're having their own kids and bringing them into me. Yeah, so that's it's really rewarding. It makes you feel kind of old some days, but I love it. And I got into this. Yeah, I was thinking about this morning. 26 years ago, I met my he was my boyfriend at the time, and he and I had this conversation, which I remember pretty clearly. That he told me that his brother, he had two brothers, his brother had AIDS. And I think at the time he thought this question, that it was going to be a deal breaker, that I was going to say, yeah, okay, move on.
This
Um,
is
to me, I'm in medicine, like you're in medicine, and infectious disease is infectious disease. It doesn't really make a whole lot of difference to me which one it is. And so, and it turned out when I actually met David, he was an amazing person. He and his partner Daryl, who they both passed on since, but they were just so much fun and so welcoming to me into the family. And then when we had two boys, welcoming them also. And I was part of his end of life care when he eventually passed away from AIDS, and I had not had an experience that close prior to that, but it made a real impression on me. And if you fast forward a little bit, that was a little time travel, but if we fast forward a little bit to 2017, I'd had some transgender patients prior to that, but it was starting to get a little bit more, a few more questions, I would say, coming through the office. And I had one 8-year-old, I remember, in the spring, who came in, and his mom said, you know, what are we looking at here? And I said, he's 8. I said, we're looking at, consistency, persistency, insistency. We're looking for those things in how he is. And I am the mother of 2, I was telling Dr. Lulu this, 2 cisgender heteronormative kids, but the kids in my practice, because I've followed them for a long time, 18 years for a good solid handful, but now some of them even longer, now that they're parents and they're bringing their kids to me. So this was one of those families that I'd followed for a long time. I said, puberty is going to make, is going to decide how we get through, the next phase of this. And he's actually gotten through that, in 2023, he's moving through that. And he still identifies as he, him, even though I think he's probably gender fluid, to be honest. But the last thing he said, I'll remember forever because it was heartbreaking. He said, I don't think I'll ever find anybody who loves me the way I am. And his mother was actually very affirming. And I said, no, I said, I don't believe that. I said, everybody deserves love. And I said, there's somebody out there that will love you the way you are.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. And I love so much what you said. So before we go too deep, so that we can bring people along, the very first thing that I wanted to affirm to you is one of the things, I make up words all the time. We already talked about neurocreative is one of the words that I made up as opposed to neurodivergent. But also I made up grand doctor a long time ago. I'm on my 34th year.
Yeah, I'm writing that one down. That's what I am now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on my 34th year as a physician overall, but on my 30th year as a pediatrician. And one of the things after you do it, I don't know, 5-6 years, you already have grand patients. And so I wanted to just say hallelujah to that, because that is a testament to the kind of pediatrician that you are. I get emails to this day, maybe not today, but recently, of my old patients saying, oh my goodness, I just wish you were here. You would know what to do with Mikey or Shanae or Bonquisha or whatever. And, I still get Facebook messages, and it's so amazing. So I wanted to just give you flowers while you're alive. Give you your flowers right now, because it is something good. I want you to tell us the name of your practice so I can put it on the screen. Sure. Even before we go any further. So folks in the Charlotte, North Kakalaki area, which, by the way, I used to live in Waxhaw.
Oh, okay. So I'm north of Waxhaw. I'm in Mooresville. So
no way! Oh my God! First of all, I want to give a shout out to my friend Anita Prasad. She is a trans woman joining us from LinkedIn. Thank you so much, all the way from India. So this show is an international show any day. Thank you so much, Dr. Anita Prasad. Such an amazing human being. Giving you your flowers also while they can, because this is what we want to do. We want to give people flowers. But I wanted to get the name of your practice so I can also put it on the screen. Sure. So people in the North Kakalaki area can go holla at you while they can, because this is it. This is it. Mm-hmm. And then maybe offline, we'll talk about collaboration, because that's what I'm about now that I don't practice anymore. We also have Dr. Rowe in the building, joining us from LinkedIn, telling us, hello, hi sis. We are going to be amazed today by the people who are just coming and affirming. Dr. Rowe also is in the LGBT plus space. And so thank you so much for our family. Happy Pride to the two. You know what? We forgot to say happy Pride.
I know, I meant to say that.
Happy Pride. I'm going to go get my Pride flags. I have to go get my flags. So Dr. Liz, hold on. Dr. Rowe, hold on. Dr. Prasad, all these doctors in the building. Let me go get my flags. 1 second. Oh, I forgot.
That's awesome. It looks like Dr. Lulu is building quite the community here with all the participants, and it's really fun to see people from all over the world joining her and being allies. I think allyship is an important thing in this day and age. Most definitely. Yeah, and
so ta-da! Ooh.
Nice, very nice.
So this is Lieutenant Colonel Ume. She is my alter ego. When I was active duty, I was a lieutenant colonel. So that's me there with my government name. There, Dr. Ume, as a pediatrician. But also, look, I have
you've got them all.
Three times this number. One of the things I also do is I have a podcast called The Pride Corner. It's in the corner of my living room where I have bigger flags, more flags, but everywhere in my house you see these. But yeah, happy Pride to everyone. I'm going to leave Colonel Ume in the bedroom so I can find her next time. But yeah, thank you all so much. Happy Pride. So Dr. Rowe is saying yes over there. Yes. All right. Let me have the name of your practice. Sorry, y'all. We had to take a quick break. I had to go get my flags, honey, because it's Pride Month.
Center for Pediatric and Adolescent Medicine. It's a mouthful.
That's okay. We're going to write it. It's Pediatric and Adolescent
Medicine.
It's in Mooresville.
It is.
And Mooresville is by it's up north. It's by
it is. It's on 77.
Yes.
Right. So we have Lowe's Home Improvement has its headquarters here. Lots of NASCAR.
Yes, and you have NASCAR is there. The big mall is there. The water is over there.
Right, Lake Norman.
Lake Norman, yes. And then there's that's where they have the part of the world called London, North Carolina. I was like, what is going on over here? But so Center for Pediatric and Adolescent Medicine, Mooresville, North Carolina. I forgot to put the MC part.
Yep.
But y'all, listen, go check them out. Go holler at them. That is what the show is about. What happened? That's what we do with the show. We hold people, we give people their flowers while they're alive, and we give them a shout out. So you might know someone who lives in North Carolina who needs an affirming pediatrician.
Yes.
You're looking at them in the mirror and on the screen. So thank you so much, Dr. Liz Tilt. So another thing I wanted to mention that you mentioned before we go any further is the fact that I guess your current husband, I don't know, but your boyfriend then had a gay brother. And one of the things that those of us that are Black anyway, your child can rob a bank, your child can have 10 baby mamas, your child can shoot up a school and they'll be forgiven. But if they're gay, so I wanted to just put that out there. One of the things I'm learning to do is to become more and more fearless, which is why I was able to get up from my seat and go speak to the people on the plane. But the more I do the work, the more I become fearless about just calling things out and just letting them just land. So this is so powerful that your then boyfriend felt, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to just put all the cards on the table. And if you don't like it, then you're not the person for me.
Mm-hmm.
So another testament to the heart that you have
Mm-hmm.
for just being, oh sure, whatever, let's go visit,
Yeah.
That's
Right.
so good.
Exactly.
And then the last thing you mentioned is the child that the mother brought at 8 years of age and said, what are we looking at? I laughed when you said that because I know some people think, oh my God, the child wants breast surgery today and hormone replacement tomorrow. And the truth is the child just wants dinner. So
Yeah.
I wanted
Exactly.
to just say all those things. And then you mentioned gender queer. So please sorry, gender fluid. So please tell the listeners what does gender fluid mean to those who don't know.
Right. So gender fluid is when, at least in my experience, is when, and I come into contact with this in the pediatric office, is when um, a child doesn't identify as, it's a non-binary thing. They don't identify as male, they don't identify as female, they identify as elements of both. And so some days they may, and there are all kinds of different transitions. We know there's a medical transition, we know there's physical transitions, we know there's social transitions. And so sometimes kids will present, and for instance, dress, biologic female dresses as a male, but still uses their, she, her pronouns. It's different things for different people, and that's why it's a spectrum of gender.
Yes.
That, and I think, even people that are cisgender probably have elements of both within them. I know I do. There are elements of me that, are more masculine. I think my leadership type stuff is more masculine, but then, I think the nurturing side of me is probably my more feminine side, so.
Yes. So much, so much, so much. Love it. I love the word elements of both.
Mm-hmm,
That is very descriptive. Love it.
mm-hmm,
Elements of both. The word fluid means it flows. It's a
mm-hmm,
continuum.
mm-hmm.
It's not static.
Absolutely.
And some days I'm like you. My dad always used to describe me as accomplishing Herculean tasks, which I now realize is also gendered in
Mm-hmm.
and on itself, right?
Right.
Expecting certain tasks to be more masculine, like you said, or
Yes.
not. I mean, like at the end of the day, the question is who who says what's masculine and what's not,
Right.
which
Right.
is
I
why
mean,
we were talking at the
it's
beginning
social.
about,
Yeah.
yeah, the whole neurodivergent diverging from what's the norm. It's always a sine wave or whatever. So I love, love, love that. And then the word spectrum is another one which I like that you mentioned.
Yeah.
There's a spectrum, which means it's from this end to that end. There's a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yep.
I just prefer the word continuum because I
Mm-hmm.
know some people hear spectrum and say, "Oh, I mean, it just get all triggered for nothing." But I love spectrum and I love elements of both. So yeah, and neither one of us is really fully capable of saying what gender queer or gender fluid means to your child. That I want
Right.
us to be
Right.
clear about
Yes.
that.
Right.
I'm not your child. So at the end of the day, how your child manifests their gender is up to your
Yep.
child. So
Yeah.
don't say Dr. Lulu and Dr. Liz said, this is the way. No, it's not. Ultimately, the beauty of it is it's your child's life and they get to live it how
Absolutely.
it feels comfortable for them. So we're at 10:19. Usually we take a break every quarter. So we're
Okay.
going to take a water break and
Okay.
come right back. The show is called the Parents of Queer Kids Show. My name is Dr. Lulu. I am coming at y'all from North Mexico, aka San Antonio, Texas. And I am also a pediatrician, pretty much retired at this point, but I still do a little bit of locums here and there. So I still see patients. But today I'm joined by someone who is still active duty pediatrician. You
Mm-hmm.
gotta love it. We are the future.
Yep.
Dr. Liz Tilt is a human being who is out there making a difference. And thank goodness for people like Dr. Tilt,
Mm-hmm.
because I know a lot of parents right now are just like, what do we do? What do we do?
Right.
So
Right.
Tilt, thank you so much for joining us. So as we go back to the show, second part of the show, you're going to tell the people
Mm-hmm.
Are you a parent of a queer child, or are you coming here representing other parents as a pediatrician, or do you
Right.
have a child who's maybe in the spectrum, as you said?
Right. 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 So both. Do you want to? Should I keep talking now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I am an ally for parents and patients. I have two sons, a 25-year-old and 22-year-old, and both of them identify as cisgender. I do have one that's neurodivergent, but cisgender, heteronormative, um, but they teach me a lot actually because they have some really good friends who are in the queer community, and I feel like they have the pulse of some of it. Although, I have a pretty good cadre of patients now that are in this space too, and I feel like they keep me on tabs too. They teach me way more than I ever teach them. And I think one of the big lessons I learned from them is just that to be authentic, just to be your authentic self. Because at the end of the day, that's you have one life to live, and everyone deserves just to be the human they were meant to be. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I love everything about that. So, one of the things that we talk about is even as a member of the queer community,
Mm-hmm.
we also still have to be allies,
Mm-hmm.
more so.
Yeah.
Obviously, cisgender people, straight people, need to be allies. But even those of us who are in the community, like me, Dr. Rowe over here, Dr. Prasad over there, we also need to be allies for each other, because there's at this moment, to my knowledge, the letters are LGBTQ, QIAAOPP2S. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. That's
And
a lot
and if you look closer, if you lean in, you will find yourself in one of those letters.
mm-hmm.
And so the need to be allies for each other is so
Yes.
critical. And all of those letters I mentioned, none of them is genderqueer, none of them is non-binary, neither, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many more.
Right.
And if you really take a look closer, you won't even see demisexual in there, which is a subgroup of asexuals, which is what I am. So there's just a lot of things that are out there to be learned. So I'm glad that you're saying that these children, these people, these humans are teaching you. You also, I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned that you're seeing more and more, I think you said you used the word cadre of patients now who are in the space. What do you think is responsible for the apparent, is what I'm going to say, apparent increase in the number of patients who are now identifying? I don't like to use the phrase coming out. I like to say inviting in, but either way, sharing about their identity, finding themselves, and happily claiming where they stand in the space of queerness. What do you think is responsible for that?
I think they were hiding in plain sight all along, and I think that it took as a person to say, I'm comfortable with that. Tell me more. I'm here to listen. I'm here to acknowledge. I'm here to see you in your space. I think it took having some of those people, you know, like what you said, it's just stand up and say, I'm an ally. Tell me more. And I think that they were always there. I mean, when you look through history, they were always there. Now I think there are little nooks and crannies of safety where these people feel like they can be themselves. And I hope I'm one of those. I would like to be that safety pin for people. Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that quote. I think if I was going to summarize today's episode with, some catchphrases, I'm an ally, tell me more, is definitely amazing. I think that's what I'm going to use to write the post about this. And one of the things I tell parents, which I did not do, I'm very transparent about the fact that I wasn't that affirming parent when I had the opportunity to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you were not opportune to do that then doesn't mean you can't do it now, you know,
Right.
whenever you find out, you know, whenever in Nigeria we say whenever you wake up is your morning.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you find out, whenever you
Mm-hmm.
discover, is a time for you to
Right.
affirm. That said, um, hiding in plain sight. Oh my goodness. I
Mm-hmm.
know you know me a little bit, but one of the things I'm doing is now educating physicians. And I'm actually, hopefully, they're going to accept my pitch to speak at the AAP this October.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Yeah.
hiding in plain sight is what I'm actually using to describe the
Mm-hmm.
Black trans
Yep.
patients.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because that sentence came to me when I was in San Francisco
Mm-hmm.
for the National Transgender Health Summit. One of the doctors, Dr. Monique, I forget her, Monica something, I forget her last name. She's a pediatrician in Oregon. And we were having a conversation and she was like, you know, I have a lot of white patients and I have a good number of trans white patients. I also have, you know, some Hispanics and Asians, and I have a good number of trans patients. But I have a lot of Black patients, but I don't have any, not one single Black trans patient.
Yeah.
And then I said, yes, you do. She's like, no, I did. I said, no, no, no. They're hiding in plain sight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And oh my God. And so I was able to, the next day when I gave my talk, she came to the talk and I made, you know, I didn't make her, but I had told her I needed her to say something at the talk.
Mm-hmm.
So I called on her to just describe that conversation, or rather relay that conversation to the people. The fact that she, as a pediatrician, is affirming,
Mm-hmm.
but none of the Black trans patients are coming out of their woodworks for her to see them,
Mm-hmm.
to even like. So
Yeah.
that kind of started the conversation. Okay, so what do doctors do? What can we do to get the Black patients to feel that much more comfortable to come out of their woodworks? What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think that's an issue because I think my population currently is very white. It reflects me. You know, I'm a Caucasian person. However, I have a fairly diverse practice here. I mean, we have Asian, we have Black, all we have everybody. And so I've put signage up in the office just to say that like we like, you know, that we're trying to be an inclusive place, you know, not only in the LGBTQ plus world, but like in all worlds, you know. You know, there we have, I don't know, I lost count of how many languages people speak when they come to my office. You know, there's so much to learn from all of these people and all these cultures. um, and I think just continuing to show up for these people, and to say, you know, I'm willing to listen to your story. Um, I I think, and I don't know this for certain, but you know, that seems like the Black transgender population has a much harder time. And I again want to like emphasize that I'm the safe space, you know, that and the things that they tell me stay with me, you know, unless I feel like there's something life threatening happening. That I take all walks of life, all shapes and sizes. Humans um, are humans to me, and um, I hope it'll evolve into that segment of my population that I take care of will evolve into as diverse a population as I have for everything else, whether it's newborn babies or, you know, asthmatics or whatever. That it will evolve that way. It's out there because I've done some volunteer work down in Charlotte, and I know it's out there. It just has to be a lot of it's word of mouth, I think, as to how people get here and get to me and, you know, find affirming people. the coconut telegraph is alive and well in that community, at least here in Charlotte, that there's a lot of online. I actually joke with one of my patients and say that research is their superpower because they find all kinds of, that's how they educate me. They find all this stuff and bring it to me. So yeah.
I've never heard the phrase coconut telegraph. What is that?
I think it's from a song, and it's about I think it's from the islands, and the method, it's gossip basically. I think is
No, man, I'm open. I learn something new every day. I learned that. I feel like it has passed my brain. My hard drive was like, I think you've heard that before, but I don't think I leaned in to figure out what it was. Maybe the conversation went very fast, but this time I'm like, oh,
it's
I can
probably
actually
my
do it.
age showing a little bit, now
And that's a
that
good thing.
telegraph now is internet.
Yes, yes. This is so good because I actually went out of my way to ask about 10. And I think Dr. Prasad, I don't know if she's still watching. She was one of the people that I intended on asking. And then she's like,
Mhm.
okay, we're going to meet this Saturday. And I had my friend's funeral and I didn't end up doing that. But I
Yeah.
wanted to ask her that particular question. How can physicians in particular make their offices more welcoming to Black
Hmm.
trans people? When I
Hmm.
asked my own Black trans child, she said, Mom, I want you to absolve yourself, and I want all physicians to absolve themselves of the responsibility for finding every last Black trans kid. It was
Wow.
so powerful. She said,
Wow.
she said, I want you to do that. That responsibility is not fully yours to find every last one.
Wow.
Here's
That
one. And
really hits
I was
home.
like, I was like, wow. And this is my Stanford trained grad. So, we're
Yeah.
not talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
So she was like, and here's why. She said, no matter how safe the doctor's office is,
Yeah.
if the patient's parents
Yeah.
are not affirming,
Hmm.
if the patient's parents are in the room with the patient,
Hmm.
if the patient's parents are overly dramatic, overly religious, all of those things,
Hmm. Yes.
it's going to be harder.
Yeah.
And case in point, she said, well, first of all, you were my pediatrician, which I was. My office was. I wasn't necessarily the one person, but my practice catered to my own children. She
Right.
said, but first of all, there was that. Second of all, I knew I was not safe,
Hmm.
period,
Hmm.
telling you. And then there's that aspect of how old is a child?
Hmm.
How comfortable are they going to get? At what age to be able to tell you? By the time they can see you alone, they're, I don't know, maybe 12,
Hmm.
maybe. And some parents are like, nope, I'm not going out. And
Hmm.
they're just other, in fact, she was like, there are other factors that are
Yeah.
not within our control. However, comma, she said, y'all can put signage, you can put pronoun pins, you can put flags, you can put sticky notes that say safe spaces, you can do all of that so the child knows. And then I might even add, if a child is savvy enough, they can maybe send an email, and this is just me adding now, but I'm just realizing that, and she was right.
Yeah.
At
She's
the
right.
end of the day, she said, I just don't hold on to, oh my God, I have to find all of them because you may never be able to find. But she said, if you find one, that one was
Wow.
worth it.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. And I'm
Yeah.
actually going to add a very tiny blurb in my new book to the physician about their Black transgender patients, just
Yeah.
about the fact that these
Yeah.
are some of the things that they might be looking out for. These are the things that might work. However, comma, these are the things that you may don't kill yourself just because you don't. But I find it almost impossible. Like the doctor Monica was telling me, I said it's just impossible that you don't have a single Black trans patient. They're
Yeah.
there. You just have to find them.
Right.
So anyway,
Right.
I'm glad we're having this conversation. So we are at the halfway mark. The show is the
Wow.
parents of Pride Kids of Pride Kids of Queer Kids show. My name is Dr. Lulu. I am a pediatrician by trade,
Mhm.
turned life coach, speaker, author, all-around agitator of the governor of Texas. Today I'm joined by Dr. Liz Tilt, who has just filled my heart and my soul today. I don't know all the places I'm going to share this interview, but I know I'm going to keep sharing it. And please, Dr. Liz, if you can put a link in your office so people can
Yes,
watch it, and so
yes,
people see it on your
yes,
website. I need
sure.
people to see your heart. And
Yes.
maybe the one Black kid might see your heart as well. But I was thinking as you were speaking that if one single Black Lives Matter sticker might do it in your office. And I don't think, yeah. And this flag, which has the Black
I
Lives
like
Matter.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I really like
that
that
may do it. Obviously, the trans flag helps, and just maybe just um, almost like a sticker that says, "Do you think your gender? I mean, do you question your gender? Something?
one.
Ask
Mhm.
me." You know what I mean? Like we're gonna try to make the people that work at your office also, you know,
Right.
um, attractive so the kids can on their way out say, I need to use the bathroom, and maybe run back in and tell you. I don't know, I'm just
Yeah.
imagining if it was me, if I was your patient today and I'm gender something other than straight gender, what would I, other than binary gender, what excuses would I come up with? I forgot something because they saw a pin
Mhm.
on somebody and just
Mhm.
wanted to I think, I hope I get accepted to speak at AAP. I'm definitely going to tell this portion of my talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
So,
awesome.
yeah. So as we wind down into towards the end of the show, I'm going to ask you just less involving, less, deeper
Mhm.
things. As a parent of a neurocreative child, and if you're wondering what that is, Dr. Liz, can you tell them what the phrase neurocreative is?
Yeah, neurocreative. Those neurocreative people are in touch. Some of creative energy, I think, is inherent in all children, and it gets shut down for a lot of reasons as we get older. And I think the neurocreative people have figured out how to tap back into some of that. I'm really interested in the creativity part as far as you can get to like a flow state in your head where all the juicy yummy chemicals like dopamine and endorphins are flowing beautifully, and it gives you this sort of element of time, like time it gets suspended. And I think neurocreative people have figured out how to hack some of that nervous system stuff and figure out how to get all those really yummy, juicy chemicals firing, oxytocin and everything in their heads. And so I think sometimes when we wind up having like a label like that, people think you're like fringe. I don't, it's not fringe. I think there's a lot of people that can do all this and be neuro creative and think, of all kinds of possibilities and all kinds of problems to be solved. It just takes some effort and it's a muscle. Honestly, I paint as a hobby, and I actually like going to the gym. I have to be very intentional about saying, okay, I'm gonna paint now because I know being in that flow state it's super healthy for me. It gives me you can't even say it's really a high, but it definitely, because there's no bottom to
I'll
it.
take a high. Yeah, I'll take a
And
high.
I'll take a
Yeah,
high where
I'll take
there's
a high. I'll take a high. I definitely am the prototype of neuro creativity. And just for those of you who are wondering, I came up with that phrase, and I don't know if somebody else has it, but I'm actually in the process right now of trademarking it. But neurodiverse is the word that's out there, which, as you and I might know,
Mhm.
has a low key
Mhm.
dig on stigma and, oh
Yep,
my God,
agreed.
ADHD and so. But these people also have creativity as a huge part of them. Most people, most patients, most children, even adults who are labeled neurodiverse or ADHD or something else, they can focus when they
Hmm.
want. And
Yes.
that's why I said, well, why don't we just elevate that aspect of them? Why don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dr. Rowe is saying thank you to you for breaking it down. And why don't we elevate that? So I decided I'm not going to use neurodiverse anymore to describe myself, because like I told you at the beginning of the show, which of your fingers is neurodiverse?
Right. Right. Right.
Is your thumb supposed to be neurodiverse because it's not a pinky finger, or is your, you know what I mean? Like,
I
and
love
that's
that.
what
I
we're
love
trying
that
to do.
analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to force everyone to be the middle finger. No, we can't, because it's gonna be a ring finger. There's gonna be a forefinger, and
Mhm.
so why don't we celebrate the creativity, which most of them actually are heavily endowed with. And if we could just be patient enough to allow them find it, like you said, they have it, and we just, well, don't do that and stop doing that. And why are you doing that? And,
Yeah.
that would be so good. I wanted to mention the relationship, if you may, of neurodiversity as it stands now and transgenderism, if that's the word, or
Hmm.
transness is what I prefer to say. I saw a study once on LinkedIn, actually, where they said 70 to 80% of neurodiverse people are transgender. Or was
Wow.
it, or is it 70 to 80% of trans people are neuro? I know, it's, yeah. 70 to 80% of neurodiverse people are transgender or have trans experience, whereby it may be non-binary, it may be,
Yeah.
full trans, it may be genderqueer, but they are gender diverse as well.
Right.
Have you heard about that, and what are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I've definitely heard, and I went to the Gender Spectrum conference, and I think I did that in 2017 out in
Wait, I
California.
spoke in 2019.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yes.
It was an amazing conference, and I did the family portion of it, and then I did a professional portion of it, and they spoke to that in that conference, but I didn't know the statistics were that high. I do see it or in real life. It does seem to pan out some, and it makes me question a little bit. It's like, is it really a subset, or is it another thing entirely? Right. Is it just another neurocreative thing that and I don't mean any disrespect by saying thing, but I don't have sometimes all the descriptors for it, but
Yeah.
is it just another type of person in the world?
I
Um
love it. I
mhm.
love it. Because we have to be curious, and which is what you're doing.
I
You're
am being
asking
curious,
questions.
yeah.
And I'm just like you. I'm like, okay, for me, I'm saying, is it one and the same person?
Yeah.
You are saying, are they different? I'm saying, is it 100%?
Yeah.
Because we don't understand the one and we don't understand the other. We
Right.
don't understand both of them.
Right.
Some are more, extreme than others.
Right.
I know my kid is like, Mom, I just know I'm neurodiverse. I just know I'm neurodiverse. And now that I discovered neurocreating, I mean, she got a full scholarship to Stanford for music performance.
That's
So
amazing.
this is like someone who will listen to the music ones, and it's like a flute wizard and a
Hmm.
classical piano whiz. I mean, it's like, so I mean, you're not going to throw away the baby with the bathwater. I
No.
mean, in the end, we have to just kind of say, okay, come, tell me about this. And I always sing about Tarzan. He says,
Yeah.
I want to know. Please tell me. I
Yeah.
want to know about the strangers like me.
Uh-huh.
There are people like them. And our job, rather than hiding them, is to show them to each other
Right.
and find your tribe, as it were.
Right. Right.
So anyway,
Yeah.
but thank you
Yeah.
so much. I know before this interview, I did not tell you what to ask, and I usually don't, because I don't know what I'm going to ask.
Right.
It's just all the questions kind of give birth to each other. So again, I'm going to
Right.
put up your practice. For those of you who are just joining us, Dr. Liz Tilt is from Center for Pediatric and Adolescent Medicine in Mooresville, North Carolina. We
Mhm.
are at the 3/4 mark, so we're going to take our last break for the show as I practice for my upcoming TV show, which I'm going to move to San Diego so I can start my TV show. That's my dream. So the show
Wow.
is called The Parents of Queer Kids Show. My name is Dr. Lulu. And yes, I'm a life coach. I work almost exclusively with parents of LGBTQ plus kids, not just trans kids, but I just happen to have a trans child who is Black. So I stand at that intersectionality of Black, queer, trans, mother, all of those things. And I
Yeah.
have to lift them up more.
Mhm.
But today I'm joined by Dr. Liz Tilt, who has just been nothing short of phenomenal and just educative, like my ex-wife used to say.
Thank you.
Just killing it. So thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. And so as we close the hour, which is crazy, right? It's been an
Yeah,
hour.
it's gone fast.
It is Pride Month. So tell us, any plans for anything fun for Pride Month,
A lot
Doc?
of pride things here wind up being a little bit later in the summer for whatever reason. I think there are other events that take place in the month of June. But there are in some cities there are pride parades and that kind of thing. I volunteered at those pride in previous years. I may do that again this year. I love to understand the history of where that came from, and New York City, and all of the hard won fights that continue to this day, I think, are the foundation for that. The one I went to in Winston Salem a couple years ago was like the happiest few hours. It was just to to watch people just be their authentic selves was just, oh, it was like a warm blanket, out of the heater, like an anesthesia, when they put that warm blanket around you.
Yes.
It felt like that. It was absolutely yummy. And it just, you live vicariously a little bit at that
Through
point
them.
through their,
Yes.
through their happiness.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that analogy, I guess is what I'm calling it, yeah, right? The warm blanket equals pride celebrations. And I tell people all the time, I told Dr. Rowe this when we talked on the Zoom.
Uh,
I said, I had the privilege to give a workshop at the Black Trans Advocacy Coalition's 10th anniversary conference in Dallas, Texas.
uh-huh.
And I was one of six cisgendered people
Wow.
in, like, I don't know, 1,000.
Yeah.
And so I was in a space of one, it looked like, maybe it wasn't, but it felt like 1,000 Black trans people. And I
Wow.
have never seen so much joy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was happy for them. I was rooting for them. I
Yeah.
was a little jealous of them. Like
Yeah.
I wish cis people would know this kind of joy. It
Yeah.
was pure and unadulterated, or whatever. It was pure and unadulterated. It was
Yeah.
just so good. And
Mm-hmm.
I felt I definitely lived vicariously through them. And I felt a little bit of parents' joy just being there. My kid wasn't with me, but
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if I
Mm-hmm.
want parents to see that they're trans people are not suffering, they're not crying, they're
Right.
not
Right.
drowning on the
Right.
street, in
Right.
spite of what the world is doing to them right now.
Exactly. 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 Yeah, and I mean, even if us cisgender people could be that authentic in our lives, I mean, just think how different the world would be to be. Yeah, I mean, that sounds very rose-colored glasses, I think, but yeah, that's that neurocreative part of me that says, we could all use a little more joy in our lives,
We
especially.
could all use a little bit more joy in our lives.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
Mhm.
Dr. Liz Tilt, it has been beyond amazing. My pleasure to host you this
Well,
morning.
I
To
really
come on
appreciate
with
being
us.
here.
Is there anything else you would like to talk about? We've got a few more minutes on the
Yeah,
clock.
sure.
Anything else? Just go for it. Tell them again how to find you. I mean, I almost hesitate to say tell them again because I know there are crazy people out there, but they will not take our
Fine.
joy.
That's
And
fine.
if they have a brick to throw in the window, then if that makes them feel better, fine. But we're
Yep.
going to celebrate
Mm-hmm.
our lives as long as we can. So
Right.
tell the people whatever else you like to tell the people.
So I, as part of being that neurocreative person, I have a lot of other gigs I do. I've written for children. I have a full manuscript of a story of,
Wait. What? And
yeah,
you're just telling me this now? Where's the book? Where is it?
it's not published yet.
No, I know. I know. I heard you say manuscript. I know. This is a push. Such
Yeah,
a push.
yeah. I need a push. I need a push over the cliff.
You just got pushed. And while you're talking about that, I'm going to show you a book that another guest, wrote, and just keep talking.
Yes. So, anyways, it's a story. It's aimed at middle grade, which is 9 to 12 years old. The title or working title of it is called Spitting Image, and it's the story of a set of boy-girl twins. The boy is transgender, and he unveils himself during that, and it was written in his point of view in the beginning. And I've taken it to a couple workshops, and I actually went out to California again as a workshop, and they were like, yeah, in this day and age in 2023, it would be tough to get a transgender tale told by a cisgender person published. So I switched the point of view to the sister as an ally story. And it's about twins who wind up going to the very binary world of a manners class that we have cotillion. I don't know if you have cotillion in Texas, but we have cotillion.
I've heard about cotillion while I was in North. I used to live in the Carolinas, so yeah.
Yeah. So and so she is unaware of him being queer, but finds out through the story. And then in the beginning, she's courting the popular kids, but realizes that her heart is actually with her twin, and being an ally to her twin. So I've queried it a little bit. I need to find an agent and then work on getting it published, and that. And the art is on the side because that's part of the neurocreative part. And then I've done a little bit of coaching also. I mean, we're pediatricians. We coach is just part of what we do.
Yes, absolutely, yes. Yeah. So here's my take on it, and I'm ever the coach, but I'm not being a coach right now. I'm being a friend.
Yeah.
I will tell you to write the book that your heart wants to write. Because there isn't a book out there written by you about an identical twin brother who unveils himself. There's no book. And what I hear you saying is two books.
Wow.
2 books. Yeah. Now, let me tell you why.
Okay. All right. Tell me.
This book is called One of a Kind Like Me.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
It was written by the woman who co-started Somos Familia, which is a Hispanic affirming LGBT, almost like PFLAG, but with Hispanic. So what she has done is the front of the book is English and the back of the book is Spanish.
Wow,
it's the exact same book. I know, it's the exact same book.
Yeah.
It's just one in it. But here's why I said what you're saying is I have a book that I'm going to write after the next 2. And I already have the art drawn and everything. Mm-hmm. And it's about a unicorn, a black unicorn.
Oh, that's cool.
She's been on my vision board forever, and I actually had the work done. I had the artwork done. So her name is Unica.
Uh-huh.
Right there. Unica.
Yeah,
that one. And what she does is she teaches children about gender. Now, I don't care what everybody else has written. I haven't written my own. And so I hear what they're saying, but I'm not listening because of, I don't know. What's the gentleman that discovered electricity?
Right. Yeah.
Didn't he get rejected like 999, whatever number of times?
Right.
Or even, I hate to say her name, so I'm not going to say her name, but the person who wrote about Harry Potter.
Right.
We cannot be about people who have not been given the dream that we've been given.
Yeah.
Your dream was to write this book. I love both versions.
Yeah.
And I see no reason why the right person
Yeah.
cannot
I think
publish.
from a business model, they're thinking, they don't, I think they don't want the person that wrote Harry Potter, they don't want that avalanche to come down on them because a cisgender person tried.
Except they're only seeing one point. I am seeing an affirming pediatrician with
Yeah.
lived experience of a neurocreative child
Yes.
and patience writing. That's what I see.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
don't
it's
see.
taken from that. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
I don't. And besides, the idea was given to you. Maybe they're not your publishers. Maybe straight up self-publishing is your path. That's my path so far.
okay.
That's been my path so far. I don't know.
That helps actually.
I honestly don't care about
Yeah.
anyone who doesn't fan somebody else's dream. The
Yeah.
dream was not given to them for this exact reason.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's my little spiel.
Yeah, I appreciate
And
the coaching. That actually helps.
and I was gonna say, what I was gonna say is, you're right. The front part, is the brother story, and the back part is the sister story. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, that's cool. I like that idea.
It's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
And imagine how many twins are going through this, and these people are preventing you from writing it because of them, not because of you.
Yeah.
So we're not going to give them any more. If you don't write the book, it's not because of them. If you don't publish it, it's not because of them.
Yeah.
It's not because of them. Because I do actually coach book writers. So I just, every single idea of a book is a great idea of a book.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
So that said, congratulations in the future for your book. And you may very well be speaking at the next AAP conference about this book of yours.
Maybe.
Who knows? Which, by the way, remind me when we get off of this, if you want to, about the AAP. They have their own publishing. I'm talking to them about my next book.
Oh, are you really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello. So you never know why this interview took place today. Maybe it was for us to talk about that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I am all like, I'm in. So anyways, whew.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Amazing. That's awesome. I don't have your phone number, but we'll talk about that off screen.
Okay.
So her name is Dr. Liz Tilt, and her practice is Center for Pediatric and Adolescent Medicine in Mooresville, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. I know that place, and next time, because I still have friends and family in the Carolinas, so next time I come, I'm coming to visit.
Well, I want you to come. Yeah.
And I might even, I know my North Carolina license has expired, but I was going to say, I might even see a few patients with you. But listen, we need to do something together, because I'm always looking for people to collaborate with. So can you tell the people where they can find you on social media, how they can support you, how they can put some more fire to get you to publish this beautiful book that I just love already?
So Center for Pediatric and Adolescent Medicine has a Facebook page. We have a website. The website needs to be updated if you want to on that. But the Facebook page is still pretty active. And then personally, I have a couple different Instagram accounts. I have Tilt, which is just like my general vacation kid pictures. Just took a trip with my 2 adult children to celebrate their graduations from undergraduate and law school. And then, hooray. And then I have an Instagram for some of my artwork. And then I have an Instagram that is fairly new for my parent coaching. I've started parent coaching a little bit for parents of teenagers, just general thing. I mean, I'll do any topic. I mean, some of the things I really like are sex education, I think finances, all those life skills that
these are so important. These are the things that parents don't tell their kids about.
Right. I mean, they're tough topics sometimes to talk about with your kids, but kids need to know this stuff from our perspective.
They need to know, yes, absolutely. Wow. Yeah. You sound like you're definitely neurocreative. I love it.
Very much so.
I love
Very
it.
much so.
Ooh, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been an absolute
Lovely.
pleasure. I hope you enjoyed it as much as half as much as I did because I
I
really
have. I have very much so. And the time just like flew by. So
and in that case, I'm going to just put it out there. When I see you,
mhm.
we're going to do a live together. Maybe in the group,
Lovely. I love
maybe
that.
if it's a Thursday, maybe on my this show, or
Okay.
maybe you just come back for part two. I don't know.
Bring it.
Yes. All right, folks. My name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Momatrician. This is actually being live streamed on my YouTube channel, on my on my Facebook, as well as on my LinkedIn. Find me, follow me. Let me know if you'd like to come as a guest. Let me know if you have any questions for the guest that I had today. My Instagram is at Dr. Lulu Talk Radio. Can you tell? Dr. Lulu Talk Radio. Find me, send me a DM on Instagram, send me a DM on Facebook. I'm Mom Attrition, Mom Attrition, which is for mom and pediatrician. But we split it up into two. So Mom Attrition on on Facebook, and then also Dr. Lulu Talk Radio on YouTube. Please join us again next Thursday for another episode of Parents of Queer Kids show. Hopefully, I'll have a parent, and we're going to be talking about queer kids. Otherwise, you can find me anywhere on the internet. Dr. Lulu, dr-lulu.com is my website. I have a 3-day challenge with Dr. Tilt. When are you going to join the challenge, by the way?
I
I have
need
a
to join the
3-day
challenge.
challenge. I have a 3-day challenge coming up. Now I've picked the dates. I believe it's June 14, 15, and 16
Nice.
for which is that all about your child's gender. And we're going to be talking all about the misconceptions, the top 3 misconceptions that I came up with that parents have about their children's gender. So
Mhm.
they think it's a phase and a choice. They think they want to transition right away, and then they think it's social media. I think I came up with those 3, but there are many, many, many more. And stay tuned for my upcoming book, which is kind of similar to that. It's called About Your Black Transgender Child. So excited. I will see all of y'all somewhere on the internet, on these LinkedIn streets or Instagram streets or Facebook streets, or of course, YouTube streets. Dr. Tilt, it has been amazing. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for joining me today.
Thank you for
I will
having me.
see you all on the Facebook group. The Facebook group is accepting, affirming, and supporting your LGBTQ plus child. And the gender challenge is all about your child's gender. You can literally look for it. You find it on Facebook. It's
Okay.
not hidden. It's titled All About Your Child's Gender. It's going to be a 3-day challenge. And you want to be there if you have a child that you're suspecting, if you have a child that you already know and you have questions, which I know you do. Yes, and if you know someone who may need to come and learn about their child's gender, just holler at me and then we'll answer your questions. And Dr. Tilt, if you join us, I might even give you the mic to share your own
I
experience
love that.
during the challenge.
Mhm. That'd be lovely.
Okay.
Sounds
All
good.
right, folks. It's
All
been
right.
amazing. Go about your business, be blessed, and don't forget to celebrate Pride in
Yeah.
all the ways you can, not only the month of June, but every single day. All right.
Yes.
Peace,
Peace.
love, and soul. Bye.